Welcome back to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. The Old Time Music Ozark Heritage Festival took place in West Plains recently. With more, here's Ben Gronowski.
With spring coming to an end, summer arrives with the Old Time Music Ozark Heritage Festival. Not even the 90-degree heat was going to stop this hallmark event in West Plains. The sound of music filled the air from two different stages, but outside I couldn't help but speak with a couple of craftsmen and a man with a very unique ice cream maker. I'm here with Tom's Hitting This Ice Cream, and Tom, tell me a little bit about your setup here. What do we have going on?
Well, I make 10 gallons of ice cream, but it's made with a 1927 John Deere.
And so is this an authentic, one-of-a-kind John Deere ice cream maker?
That's what I had it made for. I saw one at a festival, so I went and copied him and had it made. You know, nothing makes ice cream any better than a John Deere.
Okay, is it available, like if I wanted this for a birthday party or anything
Well, sure
like that?
it is. We do parties and weddings, and I've done just about everything.
Okay. I'm here now with Cecil Carroll, and Cecil, what do you got here for us today?
These are all handcrafted instruments that I do here in Howell County. I live just about 5 miles out of town and do custom guitars and instrument repair and what have you.
And then you were telling me before, you've got each of these you hand make, and you put in how many hours per guitar?
It takes about 120 hours spread over usually a 3-month period.
Wow, okay. And then you had mentioned to me as well too that with your guitars, although the guitars are the only instrument that you hand build, as you mentioned before, you do a lot of repairs for just about any stringed instrument,
just
is that
about any
right?
string instrument, yeah.
Okay, and how can folks get a hold of you?
You can contact us at Ozark Luthiers at CenturyLink.net.
Excellent. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You bet, Ben.
So I'm here with Keith and Judy Rhodes now. And Keith, can you tell me a little bit about what you got set up here today?
Well, most of our products are wood products. We have log jewelry boxes. We have cedar toys, little trucks and cars and tractors and semis. We have little fish keychains, some antler art with faces and mushrooms and that kind of thing. We do sell some lanterns and carvings of quite a few different types. Duck. We have lots of hiking sticks and canes of different kinds. We carve on a lot of those.
Okay.
And we try to keep a lot of different types of woods that people like. So
I got to tell you, walking up here, one of the first things that stood out to me were the jewelry boxes. How much time and effort goes into making one of those, would you say?
Well, we have a girl that works with us that is really good at sawing them out with a bandsaw. She saws and glues. Our part, we do almost all the gathering of the wood. We do all the lacquering. We do the sales. So it's kind of a partnership thing.
Sure. So if I wanted to get more information, like say, you know, this would be great for a friend of mine, but they're looking to buy some. Is there anywhere else we can go? Can we look online anywhere? How could we get a hold of you to find more information?
Well, we do have a website. It's rosefamilywoodproducts.com that you can look up, and it doesn't have prices on it, but it shows what you can buy, and you can contact us with information on that website.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I certainly appreciate it.
You betcha.
On my way to the Civic Center, I had to stop by the cooking stage, where I had the pleasure of meeting Judy Harden, a very charismatic cook and demonstrator of simple, old-time cooking.
But our whole thing about gathering not only the recipes, but the stories behind the recipes.
Sure.
And passing them down. I usually have at least 2 or 3 grandchildren and great-grandchildren involved in the food preparation, the dishwashing, so it's not all glamour, and we cook traditional things, because if we don't teach our younger generation how to cook and that it's possible to cook,
It goes away.
It will be a lost art.
What have you thought of the day's festivities? Have you enjoyed it? Yeah? Are you going to help cook tomorrow as well?
Yes.
What's your favorite food that you've had here so far today? Or have you only been able to do dishes?
Chocolate gravy.
The chocolate gravy? That does sound pretty good. Are you looking forward to anything tomorrow?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your time. She's very sweet.
Yes.
Visiting the cooking stage, I was now off to head inside the Civic Center, where I found an array of quilts on display. I'll admit I'm not much for quilts, but after looking at them and thinking of the time, energy, and knowledge it takes to make these works of art, I found myself admiring them. Ending the day at the festival, I left with many of the same sensations as when I arrived. Wonderful music and the smell of delightful food in the air. Next year's dates have already been announced. Mark your calendars for June 16th and 17th. And with that, back to you, Matt.
Well, you had me at John Deere Ice Cream Maker. That's a 5-star invention, and I'm sure would come in quite handy in the hayfields this summer. According to the Crocker Police Department, 44-year-old Brian Brantley of Waynesville was arrested for allegedly assaulting a woman with a cast iron skillet. Authorities said the woman, who was bleeding profusely, accused Brantley of assaulting her and threatening her with a knife. Brantley was located at his residence and was taken into custody. He has been charged with first-degree domestic assault and is being held on a $250,000 bond. Springfield police report a man in custody following an altercation on a golf course. According to reports, 2 golfers at the Springfield golf course were involved in a dispute which escalated with both men drawing firearms. Police were called to the scene, who then interviewed the men and detained one of them. No shots were fired, and there were no injuries. A high-speed chase in Sullivan ended with a crash and the perpetrator behind bars. A Franklin County deputy attempted to stop a vehicle on Highway V near Sullivan. The vehicle, driven by 21-year-old Austin Hassel of Middle Ridge, refused to stop and fled. The deputy pursued, and the chase ended after Hassel lost control and swerved into an oncoming vehicle. A mother and 3 children suffered minor injuries in the crash and were transported to Mercy Hospital in Washington. Hassel received a broken leg and will be charged with resisting arrest and assault, in addition to other outstanding charges. As we previously reported, Missouri S&T has a new chief of police. Leanne Mintink recently spoke with Chief Doug Roberts on campus.
Chief Roberts, tell us about your 25 years in the Secret Service. That's a very interesting thing, and how it compares to your new job now as the new Chief of Police here at Missouri S&T.
So prior to coming to Missouri S&T, I was with the United States Secret Service. I was the assistant agent in charge of the St. Louis field office for the Secret Service. And part of our mission is not only protection, which most people affiliate our agency with, but with our investigations also. And the Rolla is part of our St. Louis district, so I was familiar with the district. I was familiar with some of the trends and had been to Rolla a few times on occasion. The position became announced, and I was very interested in it because I wanted to transfer some of my investigative knowledge, but also using some of the skills that I've learned in my protection mission with the Secret Service, and trying to keep instead of the heads of state and the venues that they visit, to the campus and the campus community safe.
Okay. Well, tell us about Doug Roberts. What got you into law enforcement, and how is that a part of what you do here?
Well, I come from a line of law enforcement officers. My father was a police officer in Kansas City, Missouri, and was a detective when he retired. My younger brother was a police officer in Kansas City. I was a police officer in Kansas City, and my oldest son was a police officer in the Kansas City area. So there's a lot of nepotism in law enforcement, and so I followed in my father's footsteps, exactly what I wanted to do as a kid, and was given an opportunity to put in for the Secret Service, and was hired, and continued my career throughout the different assignments that I've had. The university position is a really unique opportunity for me to be able to bring some of the skills together, and the strength of the Secret Service is in its partnership, relationship building, and I think that's something that I think the university campus was looking for in its applicant, and it's something that I wanted to continue as a new role in the police chief. I really enjoyed meeting and building relationships and partnerships with the community and the law enforcement entities. The Secret Service is a smaller federal agency in the big scheme of things, and it's really important that we maintain and build partnerships with not only our police at the federal level, but state and local police officers, and then community leaders and community members and businesses. And keeping those relationships strong are what built the Secret Service to what it is today, and I'd like to try to keep those same skills and apply them towards this position.
Okay, so moving forward, what are you going to make, any changes, major changes, or what direction are you planning to take the police here on campus?
I'm just going to work with the local police officers here that are on the campus right now, and work with some of the police department leaders in Rolla and in the county and the State Highway Patrol, and try to see what needs to be worked with and try to see what needs to be adjusted. A good leader doesn't come in and make a lot of immediate changes, but goes in and tries to pay attention and listen and look and see what needs to be adjusted and go from there. We've had a couple of things that we've decided that we're going to manage a little differently, but other than that, it's more of a paying attention to seeing what needs to be changed before you go in and change things.
Okay, and lastly, of course, I have to ask you, give us an interesting little tidbit about your years in the Secret Service, somebody that you met, or a little story.
Well, half the name's secret, so you really don't tell a lot of stories about the things that we do or the people that we see. I've had a lot of really unique opportunities presented themselves to me in my course of career. I've been to 40-some countries, like 48 different foreign countries. I've gotten to teach in Europe on financial crimes investigations, on protection techniques. I've taught in Africa on investigation techniques. So I've gotten to see a lot of the world, places that I probably wouldn't have able to have afforded to go to as a police officer. I've been able to go through as a Secret Service agent. As I mentioned, my brother was a police officer in Kansas City. He's now a Secret Service agent based in Texas. And then we've had occasion where both of us have actually gone on the same trips to different cities in different countries. About 4 weeks ago, we were both in Rome, Italy together. We've been to Egypt together. We've been to Ukraine together. So I've gotten to see a lot of really interesting historical places in the world with my brother. So that's kind of a unique thing, and I think that's probably the one thing that I'll take when I leave this job, is getting to share some of the really interesting places that I've gone to with a loved one.
That's amazing, and we so enjoyed talking to you. Chief Doug Roberts, back to you, Matt.
Roberts' S&T office is filled with memorabilia from 25 years in the Secret Service. A personal picture of Air Force One sits next to a plastic-wrapped drink package that Roberts explained was a gift from colleagues, reminding him to never drink the Kool-Aid. The St. James Naturally Merrimack Consortium will soon try their hand at speed dating. The consortium consists of local agriculture, tourism, and culinary businesses working together to help promote commerce. Instead of dinner and a movie, buyers and sellers from around the area will be able to meet, talk, and connect through short one-on-one presentations. According to NMC Administrator Connie Willman, events like these are opportunities to see the people behind the product rather than merely reading marketing material. These pictures were taken at the scene of a crane accident in Lebanon. The crane apparently flipped over, smashing into a vehicle owned by John and Gayla Johnson. According to Detective Casey Springer of the Lebanon Police Department, none of the parties involved have filed a police report. The Relay for Life is set to take place this weekend, June 25th, at Bushman Park in Owensville. The Relay is a charity event with teams walking to raise money for the American Cancer Society. At this time, 8 teams and over 30 people have raised over $7,000 for the organization. That's all for now. Like our page on Facebook for more from the Weekly Recap. I'm Matt Wacker. Thanks for watching.